So, good morning, students. As we know, in the previous classes, we started this the new chapter, that is the rise of a new religion, and already we discussed the many more about this chapter, that is the rise of a new religion. In the previous classes, we discussed about the factors which is responsible for the rise of new religion, and also we discussed that is the Jainism, that is especially the founder and also the early life of the founder, and also the Mahavira, especially the early life of Mahavira and the teachings of Mahavira. We already discussed it in the last class. And one more, we also started the another one new religion, that is the Buddhism. And in that Buddhism, already we discussed that is the early life of the Gautam Buddha. Today we are going to start one more point, that is the teachings of Gautam Buddha or the teachings of Buddhism. What the teachings, what are the simple principles of our Gautam Buddha or the Buddhism which was taught in the 6th century. Let us see that all the teachings of Buddha. So these teachings we classified into the 3 groups. So the first one group, that is the 4 basic principles. Second one group, that is the 4 noble truths, and the last one, that is the Ashtanga Marga, or one more the part of teaching. So apart from this, we are also going to discuss very shortly, that is the spread of Buddhism and also the Buddhist council. So how many councils were took place? One more, that is the where these all the councils were took place. What are the different causes? Of that the councils, that all the points also we are going to discuss today or in this class very shortly. Okay, let us see the first one, the teachings of Gautam Buddha, teachings of Buddhism. Among the first one, that is the Buddha who was preached the 4 basic principles. Which are these 4 basic principles? Among the first one, that is Ahimsa. So, or the second one, the Satya. Third one, Asteya, and the Brahmacharya. It's like an Jainism principle, but here the Gautam Buddha who was preached these 4 basic principle. Among the first one, that is the Satya, it means truth. Second one, that is the Ahimsa. Third one, that is the Asteya, and last one, that is the Brahmacharya. See, how is it the principles, what is the meaning of this all the principle we can see here. First one, that is the Satya. So that according to the Gautam Buddha, one should be speak the truth, and telling the untruth or the bitter truth is considered as a sin. See, one person should be speak very truthful, or he should be follow the truthful path in his life or in his livelihood. So that's why here first teaching of the Gautam Buddha, that is the truth, and one person telling untruth, it is considered as the sin. It is considered as the sin according to the Gautam Buddha, and that's why this is the first one basic principle. Second one, Ahimsa, that is non-violence we call as. So that is called as the non-violence. It is like the principle of Jainism here, that we should not follow the non-violent path in our life. We should not kill any animal, any the person, or the human. That's you should be follow the non-violence path, or the Ahimsa we call as the third one. Already we know that in the last class we already discussed that is the Asteya, non-stealing. So it means that is the one should not be steal or take anything directly or indirectly that is not freely given to him. See, many times we will, or we wishing that it should be the thing should be, if anybody provide me that thing freely, but you should not take that, you should not steal that, that things that is not free to you, that is not free to you. So that is one more asteya, and the last one aparigraha, that is the one more, that is the brahmacharya, which is the chastity. It emphasizes the control on our passion, emotion, and also desires. So the brahmacharya is nothing but you should not be married with any woman, or the woman should not be married with any men. It means you should be control on your passion, you should be control on your desires. So you should be control on your desires. So that is the meaning of the chastity, meaning of brahmacharya according to the Gautam Buddha. So these are the 4 basic ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್. ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ, ಕಳೆದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಿಂದ ನಾವು ಚರ್ಚೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಗೌತಮ್ ಬುದ್ಧದ ಅರ್ಲಿ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆರಂಭಿಕ ಜೀವನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಾವು ಚರ್ಚೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಗೌತಮ್ ಬುದ್ಧ ಅವರ ಬೋಧನೆ ಅಥವಾ ತತ್ವಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚರ್ಚೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಭಾಜನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದೆವು ನಾವು. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತೇವೆ: ಸತ್ಯ, ಅಹಿಂಸಾ, ಅಸ್ಥೇಯ ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಚರ್ಯ. ಈ 4 ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ತತ್ವಗಳನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕರೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾಗಿದೆ. 4 ನೋಬಲ್ ಟ್ರೂತ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ 4 ಆರ್ಯ ಸತ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ 4 ನೋಬಲ್ ಟ್ರೂತ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, it's very meaningful. Whatever we belongs to any other religion, but the principle which is preached by Gautam Buddha, it's very meaningful. We can apply that principle in our life. It not mean you should be apply or you should be become a follower of Buddhism, but that principle we can be apply in our life, and we can make our life more peaceful, more happy through the following of this all principle taught by our Gautam Buddha. Okay, let us see the 4 noble truths. Very meaningful, we can understand, everybody can understand. Yes, how these noble truths are the truth in our life. So how it is truth in our life. Let us see what these 4 noble truths. Among the first one, that is the worldly life is full of sorrow. See, then first of all we should understand what is the worldly life. Which life is considered as a worldly life? Today's life means whatever we are living the life, no. So that is the whatever, for example, one of the our father, mother, we, so, or whatever the life where we enjoying the worldly things. Worldly things means what? That is, for example, the big houses, servants, what we call as the wealth, so power, prestige, status, everything is included. No, that is worldly life. So that, but according to the Gautam Buddha, this worldly life is full of sorrow. So sorrow means what? Unhappiness. So sorrow means unhappiness. How he was said that yes, the worldly life is full of sorrow. See, according to the Gautam Buddha, so that the birth is a sorrow, death is sorrow, every wish unfulfilled is sorrow. See how it's meaningful. Nobody here is yes, that person didn't have any sorrow. So everybody have its own sorrow. According to Gautam Buddha, see, birth is a sorrow. Whenever we took the birth, no, that time we crying. Many times we in the pictures we saw this scene. So we crying means when we crying, if any happiest event was took place in the life, that time we crying. No, whenever we are become unhappy. So when become we have facing the sorrow, that time we are what? Unhappiness. So that is the unhappiness. First one thing. Second one thing, that is birth is a sorrow. When we took the birth, no, that time what happened? We are crying. It means that is a sorrow. Death is sorrow. We know that whenever any person died in our family or any other neighboring family, that time the people what happened? Is this everybody is laughing at the place of in the family of that died person family? No, everybody was sorrow. Everybody was very sad. Everybody have feeling of unhappiness. See, according to the Gautam Buddha, the life, birth is sorrow, death is sorrow. See, last one is very important. Everybody can understand. We can understand what? every wish, unfulfillment of or incomplete of wish, we have the different wishes, no, we have the different wishes that that person should be give respect to me, that person should be speak truth to me, that I want to win this whatever the competition, so like this we have the different wishes, but whenever it was unfulfilled, it is incompleted, that time it become a, we are become unhappy, so we are facing sorrow. See here also that according to the Gautam Buddha, the birth is sorrow, death is sorrow, every wish unfulfilled, every wish when it was become a unfulfilled, incomplete, that time it become a sorrow, and that's why he's told that the worldly life is full of sorrow. So according to the Gautam Buddha, second one noble truth, that is the desire is the root cause of the sorrow. Desire. So desire is the root cause of the sorrow. What is desire then? First of all, we should understand what you mean by desire. So it cannot be tell directly, yes, this is desire. We will take a small example of this, because whatever all the Gautam Buddha's teachings are there, he taught that teachings through the parables, through the stories. So that's why I am going to tell you one of small story of one of the child and the or the son and the father and also the mother, and through that we can understand what is desire. One day what happened, so the both the couple and also or the father, mother and his son, so they are wandering in the market, and that time that the small son means he was only the 7-year child is there, 7-year son is there, or a 7-year child is there. He saw the chocolate, and now he asked to his father, yes, I want that chocolate. Yes, the father is become, yes, you can take this chocolate. Now they are going next, they reach one more step in the market, or say they covered some distance in the market. Once again that child wanted the chocolate. Now at the beginning he wanted only one chocolate, now he was wanted 2 chocolates. Okay, dad is also given 2 chocolates. After some time that child saw one more new chocolate, and now he wanted the 3 or the 5 chocolates. But dad said, what dad said, yes, why should we already eaten the 3 chocolates, then you should not, I will not be give you the 5 chocolates to you. But the mom who saw the dad, so mom, give me that the child is want that, no, give me. Okay, dad is already given that chocolate 5, now he 5 chocolates was given. Okay, then what happened? So okay, he was become happy, that child become happy. So whatever child, next after some distance, now the child wanted full jar, whatever the jar of chocolate, no, so that jar of the chocolate he wanted, whatever the chocolate is there, so that jar is wanted. But dad who was slapped to him, you already eaten how many chocolates? 8 chocolates. Then why you want this chocolate? Slapped him. So now the child what? He started to crying. He was starting so loudly. He is crying in the market. Everybody is watching this scene in the market. Then what happened? The dad is already given. The father is given this all the jar of chocolate to the son. The son eaten all the chocolates. Once again son is crying. Why is son is crying? Why? Because he has a stomach pain. Why? Because he has all the jar of chocolate eaten. No, that's why he started the stomach pain. Then it means, how can we understand? The desire is increased. When he was eaten one chocolate, that time he was happy. Both are happy. So when he was to eat the 2 or the 5 chocolate, that time become all happy. But when his desire was increased, no, that time, so the dad was become slapped to him. It means what? The desire is the root cause of the sorrow. Desire is the root cause. Root is nothing but the main cause. So the main cause of for the sorrow. See, this is the, in fact, the desire is responsible for the birth and rebirth also. See, according to the Gautam Buddha, the desire is the responsible for the birth and also the rebirth. So that's why the second one principle, second one cause, desire is the root cause for the sorrow, is the another one noble truth of our Gautam Buddha. Next one, that is the when desire ceases, rebirth ceases. So means what? What do you mean by ceases? Whenever our desire become we control on the desires, our rebirth, whatever there is a cycle, no, birth, death, rebirth, so that that cycle will be also stop. According to him, if man is able to exercise the control over the desire, he can obtain the nirvana or escape from the unending cycle of birth and also the rebirth. If one person control on his desire, so control on his desire, he can be escape, he can be free from the cycle of the birth, death and also rebirth. Whatever this cycle is there, in that cycle he can become a free, he can become a escape. See, that is the call as the if desire, when desire ceases, rebirth ceases. Means if when we control on the our desires, that time we also control on the our rebirth. Whatever our taking the rebirth, no, on that we can also control. That is when desire ceases, rebirth ceases. Then but how can we seize it? How can we control? How can we overcome on this desire? So according to the Gautam Buddha who suggested the 8, one more group, or the last group we call as the Ashtanga Marga, 8 paths, 8 the different paths to control on the desires, on to control on the, or to overcome on this desire, because desire is the main root cause of the sorrow, and that desire can be overcome by the following Ashtanga Marga. By following Ashtanga Marga, this is the 4, these are all 4 noble truths. So okay, this is the second one part. Already the first one already we saw, second one already saw, and the last one. Then which are these all Ashtanga Marga, or 8 paths, 8 different ways? If we follow this different 3 ways, we can definitely we can overcome on our desires. Now ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ ಗೌತಮ್ ಬುದ್ಧ ಅವರು 4 ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ತತ್ವಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಆರ್ಯ ಸತ್ಯಗಳಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅಥವಾ ಆರ್ಯ ಸತ್ಯಗಳಂದರೆ ಯಾವುದಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಐಹಿಕ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ದುಃಖದಿಂದ ತುಂಬಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಏನು ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಕಳೀತಾ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ದುಃಖದಿಂದ ತುಂಬಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ನಾವು ಜನ್ಮ ದುಃಖವಾಗಿದೆ, ಮೃತ್ಯು ದುಃಖವಾಗಿದೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಪೂರ್ಣ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಒಂದು ದುಃಖ, ಅಂದರೆ ಇಡೀ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ದುಃಖದಿಂದ ತುಂಬಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಮೊದಲ ಗೌತಮ್ ಬುದ್ಧ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮೇನ್ ರೂಟ್ ಕಾಸ್, ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸೆ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಮಗು ಅದರ ಆಸೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಅದೇ ಥರ ಒಂದು ದುಃಖದ ಕಾರಣವನ್ನು ಆ ಆಸೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೂಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಸಾರೋ. ಆಸೆ ಯಾವುದಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ದುಃಖಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ. ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಆಸೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಿಗ್ರಹಿಸಿದರೆ ನಾವು ಪುನರ್ಜನ್ಮವನ್ನು ನಿಗ್ರಹಿಸಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಇದು ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ 4ನೇ ಅಂದರೆ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಓವರ್ಕಮ್ ಬೈ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್, ಅಷ್ಟಾಂಗ ಮಾರ್ಗದ ಪಾಲನೆಯ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಥವಾ ನಾವು ಈ ಆಸೆಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣವನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದು ಯಾವುದು ಅಷ್ಟಾಂಗ ಮಾರ್ಗ? ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ದೀಸ್ 8 paths, 8 margas. Among the first one, so that is the right faith. What do you mean by right faith? According to the Gautam Buddha, one should have the faith in 4 noble truths and preached by the Gautam Buddha. Right faith. So we should have faith. On which things we should have faith? On the 4 noble truths. It is the main heart. Whatever the teachings are there, no, that is the four noble truths are the main heart of our teachings, and that's why in the Ashtanga Marga we should follow, we should be faith, we should be believe on the four noble truths which was preached by the Gautam Buddha, preached by the our founder of Buddhism. So this is the first one, right faith. Second one, right thought. So second one, right thought. With right thought and the correct understanding, we can be remove the desires. Already I told you at the beginning, desire is the main root cause. Whatever we have different types of desires, many desires, this desire is the main root cause for the sorrow, and that's why the right thought. So the right thought which tells us, which teaches us with the right thoughts and the correct understanding, we can be remove our desire. With right what thoughts means our thinking. One more, that is the correct understanding. We can understand the situation, we can understand the condition, and through that correct understanding, through that right thoughts, we can remove our desires, which is considered as the main root cause for the sorrow, and that's why it's also one more teaching. Okay, the one more Ashtanga Marga. Third Ashtanga Marga, right speech. See how these are all very meaningful teaching which was taught by the Gautam Buddha. Very meaningful. Whatever already I told you in the beginning, we can apply this all the principle in our life. So among the third one, the right speech. One should be keep away from the lying and not speak harsh word to anybody. We should be keep away from the lying. Many times we lie in our means we follow the path of untruth. We lying. Why we lying? And that lie we should be, if you want to keep that one lie, we should be speak one more lie, and that lie is become a cause for our sorrow. So lies become a cause for the sorrow. We should be keep away from the lying. We should not use any harsh word. So whatever, we should not be blame, we should not be criticize. So that is called as the right to speech. So we should not be use the harsh word to anybody. So that is the one more teaching. See the next one, the right conduct. One should be always perform a good deeds and the right action. So the right conduct is nothing but our work or whatever our profession, whatever our occupation. See, the one should be follow the right actions in his life according to the Gautam Buddha, that is the right conduct. Right efforts, one should be make efforts towards the eradicating the already existing evils. Whatever right effort, we should be make efforts. For which purpose we should be make efforts to eradicating the evils, whatever the many evils in our life. No, we should be eradicated. We should be remove that evils. Evils is nothing but bad things. Here, for this purpose, we should be follow the right efforts. We should be work for to remove this all the evils in our life. So that is one more. The next one, that is the right meditation. One should be concentrate the mind on the right things in our life. So there are many things is there, many things is going in our life, and some things are bad things and also some good things also. Here we should be concentrate, right meditation, which tells us, which teaches us, that is we should be concentrate on the right the things which is called as the right meditation. So one more thing, right livelihood. One should be adopt the right means of livelihood. For the livelihood, we following the different ways through that different paths, we continued our livelihood. In that, that is some people who was working in the agriculture, some people who was working in the our what we call as the industries or service sector we call as so here according to the Gautam Buddha we should be adopt the good or the right means of livelihood. We should not be become a part of the against our nation, against our society. So according to him, and the last one, that is the right mindfulness. One should be always self possessed. One should be always self possessed. Like this, these are the Ashtanga Margas. 8 paths become most important teaching of our Gautama Buddha. So this is under teachings of Gautam Buddha. One more thing, that is the spread of Buddhism. See, compared to the Jainism, the Buddhism also crossed our India. The many kings who helps. So the many kings who helps to spread this religion in the different parts of India, or also other part of the world, especially in the China, Tibet, Myanmar, Ceylon, Central Asia, Southeast Asia. In that region also the Buddhism was spread. Then what the causes behind the spread of this religion? Among the first one, the simple teaching. Whatever Gautam Buddha was taught, the principle become very simple compared to the other principles of religions. The very simples are there and easy to follow. Everybody can. So any simple person can follow that principle and it become a one more cause. Next one, vernacular language. See, vernacular language is nothing but the common people language. Whenever the Gautam Buddha was taught this all the principle, he was used Pali and Prakrit language. It is the common people language which is used by the Gautam Buddha during that time, and this vernacular language become also one more cause for the spread of this religion. Principle of equality. So here in this religion there is a equality is there. So in the Buddhism there is no any inequality, there is no any difference between the men and men and women, and also there is no any difference between there is no any caste system in the Buddhism, and that's why this principle of equality become one more the cause for the spread of this religion. Personality of the Gautam Buddha, so that the Gautam Buddha's personality become very dynamic and attractive, and this personality become one more cause for the spread of this religion. One more, that is the role of Buddhist Sangha. Here the many Buddhist Sangha who work for the spread of this religion. Whatever these Sangha who visited the different parts of our world and they spread this religion, that is the Buddhism. One more, that is the last one, that is the royal patronage. Many kings who given a patronage, royal patronage to this religion, and this religion become the one of the important religion of the world. So this is the spread of religion. One more thing, that is the Buddhist council. There are total 4 Buddhist council were held up to here. There are 4 Buddhist council held at the different places for the different purpose. Among the first Buddhist council which is held in 483 BC at Rajgriha. So in 483 BC which was held at Rajgriha, here they collected all the sayings, all the thoughts, so sayings of Gautam Buddha in this first council. In the second council which was held at the Vaishali in 383 BCE, and here they try in this second council they try to remove the differences among the Buddhist monk. After that the third council held at Patliputra in 250 BCE, and the fourth council held at the Kundalavana, that is the Kashmir Srinagar we call as in 102 CE. In the chronology, the fourth Buddhist council, you should be remember, the fourth council which is held at in the 102 CE, and here also they try to remove the differences among all the monks of the Buddhist, but they failed, and the religion, Buddhist religion, Buddhism was divided into the 2 sects, and also that is the Hinayana and the Mahayana. So that is the Hinayana and also the Mahayana. So these are the two sects. Apart from this, if we take the literature, so that all the Buddhist principles are collected into the three Tripitakas, that is the three baskets. The first one Vinaya Pitika, second one that is the Sutta Pitika and Abhidhamma Pitika. In these three Pitikas it is all collected. And apart from this, the one more, the last one, that is the contributions here, because of the royal patronage, that the many stupas, bastis, caves were engraved in different parts of our India, especially the Buddha statue we can see Amravati, Nagarjun Konda, Ajanta are the famous. Apart from this, that is the, we can see the Buddhist viharas, Chaitalyas we can see in the Kaneri, Karle, Nashik. So and one more, the Gandhara art was also developed during the time of Buddhist. So this is the end of our chapter, that is the rise of new religion and also the teachings, spread of Buddhism and also Buddhist council. So in this class we are discussed all these 3-4 concept. In the next class we will going to start one more chapter, that is the chapter number 4.3, the Mauryans. Thank you.